If you're an experienced pet owner, you already know that having a pet is 25% belly rubs, 25% yelling, drop it, and 50% groaning at the bill from every pet visit. Which is why Lemonade Pet Insurance is tailor-made for your pet and can save you up to 90% on vet bills. It can help cover checkups, emergencies, diagnostics, basically all the stuff that makes your bank account get nervous. Claims are filed super easily through the Lemonade app and half get settled instantly. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet and they'll help cover the vet bill for whatever your pet swallowed after you yelled, "Drop it."
Welcome to the Going to Killing City podcast, a historical look at murder in Kansas City. Here are your hosts, Jamie Green and Alex Greenwood.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's February. It's romantic, not between us, but it's in the air, right? So we're gonna have a kind of a romantic episode, Alex. I don't know. We'll see anyway. But first, before we get started, Alex, to see you today from when we were at Buffalo State Pizza, when you look like, your dog had died. The Chiefs may never win another game again. I believe they never lost after that. You're in the Super Bowl. This will be actually out after the Super Bowl, but we don't know how to say. But congratulations, dude. It's a dynasty.
Dude, thank you. You were so funny because you got me this wonderful Christmas present, this flask. It's a Chiefs flask. It's not officially branded, but it's got the arrowhead on it. Says, and you were like, you may need this, which was hilarious. And I got you some shot glasses,
which I definitely needed. But
which you needed, and I was I just remember though that didn't I during the game send a picture of the flask saying you were right, yep. But then when we started winning, you came back at me with, see, that thing's good luck.
There you go.
And thank you. And Kansas City, I'm talking to you from the past. I don't know what that means, but if we don't win, remember it's another AFC championship, which is nothing to sneeze at. It's a fourth appearance in 5 years or whatever. I mean, come on now, it is a dynasty, and enjoy it because these things never ask the Steelers, ask the Patriots, and unfortunately ask the Cowboys. These things never last. So nope. Enjoy it. And so I have to ask you, how are you doing about the Cowboys?
Well, the thing about it is, sadly, I'm used to it. So I honest to God, I thought they'd beat the Packers. I thought they were going to get beat either by Detroit or San Francisco. So the only shock was that they got beat so badly so early. And I was in a bar in Scottsdale with the biggest dope on the planet who said he had been a Cowboys fan, but now he lived out in Arizona and he was a Cardinals fan. And then he asked me, I mean, when like people are in your ear and you're trying to watch the game and like the last thing you want to do. And he goes, so if they don't win this one, are they going to go on to the next round? I was like, what? It's not a best of 7 in the NFL, buddy. I mean, like, you're a fan? No, you're not. But we left at halftime, turned it off. Went and walked in Papago Park, which is a beautiful, it's natural desert. They never that's the one part of Phoenix that looks like it did hundreds of years ago. And it was a beautiful day in Arizona, sunny and 65 in January. And I was just like, maybe next year. But as you know, I don't think they're winning it at all again until Jerry dies or
I think you've laid that marker down off and on since I've known you, that Jerry Jones, and I happen to agree. I can't stand him, but I mean, I'm not wishing him dead. I'm just saying I happen to think until he's not running the show, it's not going to change much. By the way, lovely photos of said walk, and of course your bride.
Yes,
and
very nice.
You have such a remarkably good attitude about it. It's like, this is a game. Calm down. It'd be nice to win. It feels good. It's your tribe is, but and you know this, when I first moved to this town, I became a Chiefs fan when it was Matt Castle.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah. But that's how I'm a true fan. I'm not a bandwagoner. I decided, okay, I'm moving here. I've never had an NFL team in my hometown. I was an OU guy. I went to OU for grad school. but I was like, I'm devoted to it, and I became like rabid about it. Alex Smith was my hero. He's still my all-time favorite NFL quarterback. I love Mahomes, but Alex has always been my favorite. I met him once. He's a nice man. Anyway, but I wanted to say, is Dak hanging around then?
Probably. I don't know, dude. It's just I'm focusing on Nebraska. I'm very excited about Nebraska's offseason. I'm so excited. We got the number one quarterback out of high school coming to Lincoln.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on that. But
how did you snag that guy?
Because his dad played in Nebraska.
That's right. Okay.
He was supposed to come to Nebraska. This has got drinking in it, so we can talk about this real quick, then we'll get started. He was supposed to come to Nebraska, but then the former coach that was the biggest disaster on the planet was supposed to come to his house to recruit him, and he called his former teammate, Dominic Raiola, and said, I've had too much to drink and I can't come. And Dominic said, what? And said, I've got my whole family here. Get a cup of coffee, sober up, and come over here. And he's like, no, I can't do it. I'm too drunk. I can't do it. And so at that point, the kid, Dylan Raiola, said, I'm going to Georgia, which, you could see that because Georgia is a huge powerhouse in college football right now.
Right.
But to our current coach, Matt Rule, credit, he never gave up on the kid. And after Frost left and that disaster and stuff, that they connected and he liked it, and he's coming to Lincoln. So if you're a nerd like me and watch the fact the kid can throw the ball 72 yards and has a gun for an arm and does, there's a reason why he was considered the best quarterback in the country coming out. So there's a little bit of hope. Dallas, I'm just going to hang. I tell you, I've told you this before, but everybody, I was a fan of the Cowboys long before Jerry.
Right, you were.
Yeah. I will be a fan long after Jerry. So I first started rooting for the Cowboys when I was 5 years old in 1973. So that's why it's my team. It's not Jerry's team. That's what I think. So
I like it. I like the way you put that. And by the way, I was not aware of that story about Frost.
Oh, there's so many stories about Frost. Remind me when you and I hang out.
Yes.
Because Lincoln's a small enough town that I've heard all kinds of stuff from people that I actually believe how bad he was. So, but that train wreck's behind us, thank God. So anyway. Wow. So people joining us, we're having a blast with this, and we've been getting great feedback. We got another great review on Apple Podcasts. We love reviews. If you get a chance, please do so. It helps. But the construct always is one of us does the research, tells the story, and gives a hint to the other. So this is my month to tell the story, and Alex was given the hint. Dealt a bad hand. And so with that, Alex, let's talk about this yummy cocktail that we're imbibing.
Let's talk about being dealt a bad hand. And of course, that put me in the mind of one of my favorite games, Texas Hold'em. So I thought, well, hey, how about just a simple, because I know my brother would not, he'll try, but he does not appreciate like 7 or 8 ingredients. So I try to keep that, especially when I'm really late sometimes on getting him the cocktail. Now, if I am on my game and ready, I'm like, dude, here's your list. But this one is simple for everybody listening. It's called a poker cocktail. 2 ingredients, 1 ounce sweet vermouth, ½ ounce light rum, combined in a mixing glass with ice. Actually, I'm shaking that. You're not supposed to shake it. You just stir it. Then you strain it into chilled martini glass and garnish with a lime peel. It's nice. I'll tell you right now, brother, tell me again. You just tasted it. What did you think about it?
It's very vermouthy, and I think we both kind of decided it has kind of a Negroni vibe to it, which is fine. So.
Negroni, folks, if you don't know, that's a great drink too. Like if you're Campari, there's a lot. So the thing I've heard is like if you can get through like half the first Negroni, it's like really nice, and then you want another one. And 2 of them is great. 3 of them is not a good idea though. This one, I would say this one is pure alcohol, but it's vermouth and light rum. So I would say you're okay. I would just say mix it up. Jamie, you also suggested doing maybe a cherry to sweeten it up a little bit. Sweet vermouth is a bit of a misnomer. It's better than dry vermouth as far as if you have kind of a palate for sweetness. But I would say add. I would do it the other way, to be honest with you. My poker cocktail, I'll tell you, is aces as far as I'm concerned because I switch it around. It's 1 ounce of rum and ½ ounce of sweet vermouth. So try that.
Oh, I'm going to do that next time. Definitely.
It's delish.
We have a website, Alex. So people who are hearing this and said, I can't write all this down. I'm in my car driving down I-35. Go to killingcitypod.com.
I'm evading a former Royals baseball player.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I stepped on you. It's killingcitypod.com.
So go to the website and all the drinks over all these episodes. You can find them all with the show notes. You can have it. We've had some really good ones. They're a lot of fun. It's a great way to expand your palate from a drinking standpoint and try new things. I certainly have and enjoyed it.
Me too.
And it has been a good one. So with that, I think it's time.
It's time. By the way, do you want to do an update? Let's just tease that. We don't know much about it, but we'd like to at least mention what's going on here in Kansas City in real time. The thing with the guys in the backyard and the thing. But we don't have a lot to add, but I thought we just, as a marker, mention it at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. But hey, it's time. I'm going to drink this drink and hear this tale.
All right. So Alex, and I know you've done this drive a lot of times from back when you lived over in Brookside/Waldo. Mm-hmm. But if you leave the Country Club Plaza and head south on Ward Parkway, you pass a 4-story brick apartment building that sits just to the south of the Posanelli Law Firm, where my wife used to work. 902 Ward Parkway looks like many 1920s era buildings around the Country Club Plaza, but this one was the site of a murder that captivated a nation, partly because a card game started it all.
Aha!
So in the 1920s, the Jazz Age, right? The First World War is over. Mm-hmm. People are happy, have some money in their pocket. They're enjoying, even though liquor is illegal. Everybody's drinking, maybe even more so because it's illegal. And one of the things that was a rage in the 1920s, which I did not know until I did this research for this episode, was the game of bridge. So among the avid bridge players of the era were the Vanderbilts, Buster Keaton, George Burns, and Chico Marx. Apparently, I don't know if Groucho and the other guys, Zeppo, weren't in it, but apparently Chico was in. Yes.
By the way, sorry, big Marx Brothers nerd. He pronounced it Chico.
Oh, see, this is why we do this. So Chico Marx. Also, Yankee superstars Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig apparently were crazy about bridge, played it in the clubhouse. So it was the game of choice for that decade, and people loved it because it's full of strategy and tactics. Do you ever play bridge? Have you done it? I did it like in college. It's been a million years.
That's when I played it last, and we actually did a variation called strip bridge.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do I want to know?
You do not want to know.
A New York Times article described bridge as, quote, part science, part math, part logic, and part reason. And that same article stated that bridge is a partnership game. Above all else, a successful bridge player must be a great partner. Trust, communication, and patience are the essential attributes of winning at bridge. And I point all that out because, as we're about to see, all those attributes were sorely missed at 902 Ward Parkway on the evening of Sunday, September 29th, 1929. On that very evening, the socialites John and Myrtle Bennett hosted Charles and Myrna. God, could you make this any more confusing? We got John, Myrtle, Charles, Myrna at their 4th Street apartment. They were neighbors. John Bennett was a perfume salesman. You missed your calling, Alex, and made good money. He made $18,000 in the year 1929. That works out to $250,000 today.
Wow.
Yeah, good money. The Bennetts and the Hoffmans were very close. Charles and John had played golf that morning at Indian Hills Country Club, which is just down the road for me, about maybe a mile and a half. And then in the afternoon, they picked up their wives, went back to the country club, and hung out. So it's kind of an all-day drinking affair, Alex. Those things never seem to end well, right? So late
it usually ends up with strip bridge, but go ahead.
That evening, they were playing what they call contract bridge. Oh. And the Bennetts were so far ahead in points that they thought their victory was assured. They were like killing it. Not like they're going to kill it in a minute, but they were killing it. But however, John Bennett made a crucial error and played the wrong hand. His wife, Myrtle, who was known as an expert bridge player in the family, was so upset by John's mistakes, she called him, quote, a bum bridge player in front of the Hoffmans. Now, this enraged John Bennett. He stood up and slapped his wife in the face numerous times.
Dang.
Yeah, while the Hoffmans looked on in horror, as you would. Bennett announced that he was leaving for the night and was going to drive all the way up to St. Joseph, Missouri. Now, this is interesting to us because it's an hour to St. Joe now on I-29 going 70 miles an hour It's after midnight. It would have taken him at least 2 hours to get up there on just a regular hop, but he was that bad. And as he was packing, he mocked Myrtle and said all this nasty stuff about her in front of them. And then Myrtle stated back to the Hoffmans that only a cur would strike a woman in front of guests. Well, I had to look up. Do you know what a cur means? I did not.
Actually, yeah, I've heard the term. You know me, I'm kind of one of those guys who likes those ancient swears and things. Yeah, wait a minute. Actually, you like him too because we're big Deadwood fans. But I digress.
True. So for people who don't know, a cur is a dog. So there you go. You're a dog. I would say slapping your wife at any point, at any time, in any point of your relationship, you're a dog and a piece of crap. But obviously, she was very much horrified that he did this in front of their guests.
Right.
Now, Alex, we have used the term "a fatal mistake" often on this podcast, but
yes, please, sir. It's your favorite thing to say. I don't ever say it. It's you, but go ahead.
But in this case, John truly committed a fatal mistake. He ordered that Myrtle go back to the back bedroom and pack his handgun for him.
Oh, good God.
After slapping her in the face multiple times, cursing her, mocking her, all of it. So she goes back to that back bedroom, retrieves a .32 caliber Colt semi-automatic, goes back toward the front, walks past the Hoffmans, raises the handgun, and shoots John Bennett first in the back and in the chest. Total of 4 shots, 2 hit. John tried to flee, but fell to the floor in his living room, and John Bennett was dead at 36.
Wow.
Yeah. Myrtle was promptly arrested, and she was held in the same cell with 29-year-old Evelyn Helms of Raytown. Evelyn, too, had killed her husband, Frank. And both Myrtle and Evelyn would claim the same defense, that they were victims of abuse and cruelty. The similarities of these two cases was picked up in the local press almost immediately. An October 13th, 1929 article of the Kansas City Journal stated that, quote, the Helms slaying in many ways paralleled the recent slaying of John G. Bennett by his wife, Mrs. Myrtle Bennett. Both slayings were precipitated by trivial quarrels and had origins, though, of deeper causes. All right. We know that a bridge game started the series of events that led to John Bennett's murder. What did the Helms fight over? You're never going to guess. This is the weirdest thing ever I've heard for something to start a fight that led to murder.
It wasn't bridge, though.
No.
You stymied me. I mean, it could be so many things. What weird thing was this?
Well, apparently, Mr. Helms sold Evelyn Helms' trick pony. And you're going, what? Because the Helmses were vaudeville actors originally. So she had a pony as part of her show.
Okay. Oh, now, just as an aside, my great grandparents were circus people, and my great grandmother had a trained dog act. So I know how important that could be.
Yeah. So she was very unhappy about that. Apparently, they also fought over Evelyn's desire to return to the stage. Frank wanted her just to be a housewife. It was a clearly unhappy marriage. After shooting Frank, Evelyn turned the gun on herself and pulled the trigger, but the gun was out of bullets. So she lived, but was arrested.
Fatal mistake number 2.
Right. So that same Kansas City Journal article stated that Evelyn and Myrtle spent time in confinement talking with each other. Would you like to be a fly on the wall? And be like, how'd you kill him?
Yeah.
But there was one major difference between those two women.
Yeah.
Any guesses? Myrtle had money, dude. And Evelyn did not. Now, we all know in America, justice is supposed to be blind, but it's also very expensive. So Myrtle Bennett would hire someone well-known in Kansas City and also known on this podcast, because the Bennett murder trial, or the Bridge murder trial, it was commonly known, would take place in the same courtroom with the same judge as the Swope murder trial of Dr. C. Bennett Hyde 20 years earlier.
Get out.
Yeah, and even another coincidence, when we know that James A. Reed, the senator, was the prosecutor of Dr. Hyde, 20 years later, he would defend Myrtle Bennett.
Stop it.
Yep. This all comes around, doesn't it?
Man. Well, it was kind of a small town, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. And in some ways, it still is today, right?
Yeah.
So Evelyn could never afford somebody of Reed's caliber. So she didn't get quite as robust of a defense. She was convicted of manslaughter on November of 1929, so just a month after Myrtle killed her husband, and was sentenced to 10 years in prison at the Missouri State Penitentiary. Upon hearing the verdict, Myrtle reportedly collapsed and was taken to a sanitarium that was described by her doctor as a, quote, nervous and mental disease. Myrtle had just saw what could happen to her. She would spare no expense for her own defense. Which brings us back to James A. Reed. After the Swope murder trials, he ran for the United States Senate in 1910 and won, served 3 terms. And the year before Myrtle killed her husband, Reed ran for the Democratic nomination for president and lost out to New Yorker Al Smith.
Oh.
4 years later, he would try to garner the nomination again and lost to the other New Yorker, and I know you know who that is.
Let's see. That'd be wait, so that would have been 28 plus 4, is that right?
1932.
32, another New Yorker. Oh, well, that'd be Roosevelt.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
There you go.
So on a cold morning on Monday, February 23rd, 1931, the murder trial of Myrtle Bennett began. Reed's first tactic was to utilize jury selection to his advantage. Reed challenged potential jurors and argued with them until he was satisfied that the 12 men picked yes men, no women on a jury back in 1931.
But were they angry men?
Apparently not, because he thought that they were sympathetic to Myrtle Bennett. The trial was a media sensation. It was breathlessly reported nationwide. Students of the Kansas City School of Law, which is now UMKC Law School, skipped classes to attend the trial. And this is kind of weird. Numerous newspapers hired bridge experts to break down the actual plays that led up to the murder. And like, maybe if John had done this, he'd be alive today. And I'm serious. There's, because I have a subscription to newspapers.com. There's numerous of it's not just one newspaper. It's just funny before, television and all the other things, what people would be intrigued by. All right. So here's a fun aside for you, Alex, maybe a cautionary tale. James A. Reed found out during the same trial, the trial of Myrtle Bennett, that his mistress, Nellie Dawn.
No, this is too much. Dawn?
Nellie Dawn was pregnant with his child. Of course, this raised a problem because Nellie Dawn was married and so was James Reed, but not to each other. Even more problematic, Nellie Dawn's husband, Paul, was unable to have children. Whoops.
Oh.
So Nellie would head to Europe to, quote, adopt a baby boy. When James's wife died in 1932, Nellie Dawn divorced her husband, Paul, and married James. Of course, Nellie's Dawn life had even more chaos in it. Fans of the pod will remember that she was abducted and held for ransom in December 1931. James A. Reed called our friend to everyone, John Lazia, to help find. There's many through lines.
This is nuts.
Yes.
Are we going to? It's of course this is up to me to put all these links to all these people. You better send me the detailed notes on these things.
I will do so. But so we are going through several episodes just with this one. So Nellie was unharmed, but yes, John Lazia, the friend to everyone, James A. Reed. There's another fly on the wall. You got a guy who was a senator for 3 terms, running for president, calling one of the most mobbed up guys in Kansas City to ask for help, and he provides it. Okay, back to the actual case. So Reed crafted the following defense. Myrtle Bennett had not shot her husband in cold blood. Instead, she and John had struggled over the handgun, and in that tussle, the gun had gone off and killed him. We will never know about the true motives of Myrtle. That'd be a good band name, Motives of Myrtle.
Motives of Myrtle, I like that.
She was crying throughout things. So is she crying hysterically through the trial because she's really sad? Or is it because it's all a ruse to elicit sympathy of the jury? Whatever it was effective. On March 4th, 1931, Myrtle took the stand. Something that is often seen as a risky move by a defense team, right? Most times people up for murder, their defense is do not testify. But in this case, it was effective. It's James Reed led her with his questions. Myrtle broke down completely, and it was noted by the press that many women in the gallery joined her in her tears. She testified that she knew nothing about the gun, and she did not try to kill her husband. She talked about John's frequent abuse. Apparently, he also had love letters because, he's a traveling salesman. He was having affairs, and that she was terrified of him. She stated that John had forcibly grabbed the gun out of her hands, so much so tore her dress, and while grabbing the gun, somehow that gun went off.
Oh.
Now, this is interesting. Her testimony was in direct conflict with what the Hoffman. Remember the Hoffmans, their neighbors were there.
Right.
And they, of course, testify what I said earlier. They were sitting there. She went back to the back bedroom. She gets the handgun. She just walks right by him, raises the gun, shoots the gun 4 times, kills him. So somebody's lying.
Right.
And on both sides are under oath. Well, the jury believes Myrtle. After 2 days of deliberation, jury foreman Leslie Choate announced the verdict of not guilty. Myrtle Bennett was a free woman who would also collect John's $30,000 of life insurance. But she was a pariah in Kansas City, not surprisingly, and she had to leave town almost immediately. She left with her mother, and they weren't heard from for like over a decade.
Huh.
Okay. Well, this is kind of fun. Myrtle next pops up at the executive head of housekeeping at New York City's Carlisle Hotel, the very famous Carlisle Hotel.
Yeah, swanky.
Where she hobnobbed with very famous people for a number of years. She lived in the apartment 3B. According to reports, she was well liked and frequently played bridge with her friends. Do you want to be your bridge partner? That's my question.
No.
Right? I think I'd be like, I'm on the other team, Myrtle.
Nope. Nope. Pass. Thank you.
She did not ever speak to anybody about what happened in Kansas City on that fateful night in 1929. She lived a long time, man. She died in Miami Beach not until 1992. She was 96 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah, long life. Her biological family, she had nieces and nephew. Her and John never had their own kids.
Right.
Apparently, she fought with him a bunch. They had lots of arguments and fight late in her life. She redid her will 3 different times. So by the time that she finally dies, they only got $4,000. But interesting, Myrtle did leave 2/3 of her estate, over $600,000, to Mary Jacobs and a Helen Fugina. These women were nieces of John Bennett, her murdered husband. So that's a big fuck you to her biological family. I'll give it to that. Or maybe it's guilt. I don't know which it is, but that's what it is. So
we need to probably make available like an online PDF bingo card for this one.
okay.
Jamie, kudos to you on this bit of research and how you've tied it somehow into like a half dozen of our episodes. My Lord, this is I'm still, folks, remember, if you're new to the show, I'm hearing this for the first time. Okay. And I mean, just like you. So I'm sitting here going, what the, one more time, they did what? And they knew who? I think that this era of Kansas City is such a rich, pardon the obvious pun, but it's such a rich vein of people who did or didn't play their cards right.
Yeah.
And it also just shows to Goya, as we say in Oklahoma, that if you're going to get away with something, you gotta know some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
This is a great example. That's why one of the reasons I picked this, because I'm doing all the research, and when I read, it was either the Kansas City Star or the Journal. We used to have numerous daily newspapers in this town.
AM, PM, even. I mean, remember that?
Exactly.
Remember back in the day, we had an afternoon paper and a morning paper in places? Crazy.
Yeah. So when I saw that there was another person who had murdered her husband and they were in the cell together at the same time talking, I said, well, this is interesting. And the fact that Evelyn Helms was convicted because she couldn't afford James A. Reed.
Right.
She went to the Missouri State Penitentiary. She served 4 years of the 10-year sentence. Then the governor, whoever the governor was in Missouri at the time, commuted the last 6 years of it. And it talked about, there was an article in the Kansas City Journal on December 2nd, 1933, talking about her release, and said that she had been entertaining fellow convicts with her song and dance numbers. No show ponying, clearly. Trick ponying. That was gone. But
yeah, the trick pony. Yeah.
This is seems like a crazy episode of Boardwalk Empire or something.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say Carnival, but Boardwalk Empire, even better. Yeah.
Yeah. So
for a second there, I thought there was going to be some kind of collusion between the two women.
No, they just a weird coincidence. Within, a few months of each other, they both murdered their husband. They both say that their husbands were abusive and cruel. They both shot their husbands.
But did one not learn from the other, or do you think it was too close together? Is because the results weren't? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the wealthier woman did not learn anything from the less wealthy woman because it only been what did you say, 4 months? Is that right?
Yeah, I think the one thing she learned is after, that's why she had the nervous breakdown in jail was, holy shit, I could go to jail for this for a very long time. I better lawyer up. And not only should
Right.
I lawyer up, I should lawyer up with somebody who's really well known. James Reed, whether famously or infamously, depending on your take politically, he's one of the main people who killed Wilson's League of Nations. Who
Right.
was one, and he was one of the few Democrats to come out against it, but it was mostly the opposition party. But Reed was so I guess what I'm saying is he's very effective at arguing. Part of the thing when I was reading the transcript of the trials, he's cried in the trials and then apologized to the prosecutor that he's crying about Myrtle.
Yeah.
He was all in, man. Apparently, he loved to win. He loved to spar and fight and win, and so he was all in. So it's almost kind of like a Clarence Darrow type guy that just most people in this country don't know who he is or was.
Right, right. And I've heard that when he took her to lunch in between sessions of the trial, he went to a French place and asked her, "Would you like a crepe, Myrtle?" Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tell your daughter that. She'll be like, Dad.
Well, then I have to explain what a crepe Myrtle is. But this is so intriguing as a writer, if you don't mind me being,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
way. This could be a great this era of Kansas City. This could be a great streaming series for a couple of years.
Absolutely. So you've got, I mean, just off the top of my head, we've talked about John Lazia and his murder. We now have talked about Myrtle and her killing her husband and how that's all intertwined.
Right.
And you put that in tandem with the great music that's coming out of this town.
Yeah.
The city manager who's corrupt, people being shot all the time. The city manager's daughter was actually kidnapped. I don't know if people know that too.
Oh, Pendergast, all the Pendergast era, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was we talked about, wide open town. If you could think, the Chesterfield Club in downtown Kansas City and what was going on there, it was a crazy weird. Yeah. This might be your next project, Alex. When you retire and have time, you can write this up.
It's so funny because I mentioned my great grandparents who were circus people. They were in Oklahoma, but they did the riverboat circuses in the on the Ohio River right before this, like around turn of the century, last century, not this century, obviously. And then they settled in Oklahoma. When they retired, he became a postmaster and all that. But to your point, I was going to say, how she wanted, the vaudeville gal just always wanted to perform. You never, once a performer, you're always a performer, I think. And I think there was an issue there with that with my great grandparents, but they got along fine. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to write a book about riverboat circuses, and it's a project of mine. I've got a stack of research and all this, but as you said, it may have to wait a while because I'm just too flipping busy. But this would be right up there as a project I'd like to explore, because I do not, and I'll have to Google around, but I don't think anybody's really delved too deeply into this.
No, I could only find articles about this. I didn't find a book about it. But
are you going to tell me how you even heard about this, or you don't have to give away your sources? Is it a book you found or something?
There was somebody at one point who told me, and this has been years ago, that like pointed at that apartment complex and said, there's some lady shot her husband over a bridge game. And that was enough. I was like, okay. So then I started it took me a while to actually find it. But the crazy thing is, once you get into it, it's like, the day of the New York Times, 2 days after the show, she kills him on a Sunday night / Monday morning. The New York Times is writing an article about this in their Tuesday edition. Like, it spread like wildfire. They have pictures of her, which we could put in the show notes too. When she's young, she's got like that bob look, it's that era.
Oh, I love that look, by the way.
And
the flapper look.
Yeah. And she's not like gorgeous. You're not like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She's not Ava Gardner or anything, but she's pretty. And I think that lent to part of this case, right? That she, they made a real big thing when she came in to the jury, before the jury, that she wore black every day. That was one, Reed's a professional, a lawyer. He knows, don't wear makeup. Sit there and cry a lot. And it worked. It worked.
This is right around the time. Did you see the reboot on HBO Max, whatever they call it now, of Perry Mason? They did 2 seasons.
Yeah, I did. I actually liked it.
This is right around then, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah. And I have a personal connection to one of the actresses who's appeared on there once. Anyway, but that's for another story. But I as you were telling me this in the court scenes, I'm like, this is very much like that, and I could see it. That's just, Jamie, well done, my friend. This is a good one. what I love though is that she's 92. Is that what you said? And she gives away
96 in 1992
96.
when she died.
Oh, 92 when she died. And it's just wow, right?
So you want to know, like, what was her was she just that angry? Apparently, she was mad that her actual biological nieces and nephew were trying to help her, like, make financial decisions. Like, that made her mad.
Yeah.
So is it just a big fuck you? Or is it the guilt that she lived with for 6 decades? I mean, she lived 6 decades after it. Is it that? Is it she feels somewhere in her heart still bad that she killed this guy? Who we'll never know, but it's interesting.
It's totally interesting. And wow, good. So you only found articles. You didn't find a book written about this.
I didn't see a book. I may have missed it.
Okay.
There are I will say this, the Jackson County Historical Society did a article on this in the summer of 2015. I didn't even know that the Jackson County Historical Society had a periodical, but apparently they do.
Mm-hmm. I did know that, yeah.
It was written by a guy named Ralph Monaco. Once again, we always credit people that we have looked and read their stuff. And so he talked a lot about it. It's like why don't we put this entire article in there? Because it even talks a little bit about Evelyn Helms. I actually found the thing about Evelyn Helms on my own beforehand. But there's the picture of Miss Bennett as the flapper and all this stuff. That's it. It's a crazy story. I enjoyed this for several reasons. And spousal abuse is a real thing. We are not making light of that. Do not hit your spouse. Do not physically, mentally, emotionally abuse your spouse. We can't say
male or female, folks. It
exactly.
Goes both ways.
Nobody. Don't do it. So we're not making light of that. I'm making light more of her defense was fat. If I'm up for murder, I'll cry on the stand. I'll do it. I don't blame them for doing it. It's like the one time I would say that probably for women, most things about being a woman, it's not good. You have to deal with jerks and sexual harassment and misogyny, and you have to be careful where you are at night. And it's horrible. I'm not trying, but this is the one thing, I think this helps, right? Because men go to jail and get executed a lot more when they're convicted of murder, I would say, than women.
Right. And women are smart enough to get away, like La Pistolera. See what I just did there? I'm adding a link to one of my stories to this one.
Wouldn't that be funny if La Pistolera was her nanny or something years later when she was old at the Carlisle Hotel or something? I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Home health nurse.
I'm gonna tell you right now, brother. And I'll give you a share of the credit. When I write the movie or the TV show, that's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. I'm just telling you. Oh my God.
It's fat. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. You'll know this building when you've seen this building 1,000 times. You just have never stopped at it. We need to do a tour too. We need to get a bus and take people around.
I have a thought, and I don't know if should I say this thought now, or you want me to just wait?
Go ahead, dude.
I think we should around Halloween time do our own little ghost tour around the town. And sorry folks, it's not free. Everybody chips in so we can rent a little minibus, and we'll drive you around. We'll provide refreshments, the whole bit, and we'll tell the stories, and maybe we'll have some special guests. That's what I'd love to do. Just it doesn't have to be, it won't be Halloween night. I can't do that, but like sometime in October. I think that's the perfect time of year for this sort of thing.
Yeah. And the last thing I say, and then we can talk about next month. I love these old newspaper articles. Just the amount of detail, and they're probably fibbing about stuff. So
Sure.
I'm just going to read this paragraph. This is the first article. This is in the Kansas City Star, just the next day. So think about this. He gets the story the very next day. I'm assuming it's a he because it's 1929. So he wrote the very next day, Mr. and Mrs. Bennett would have been married 11 years, Armistice Day. They were married in Memphis and came here about 5 years ago. They had been living at the Park Manor since it was opened 2 years ago. Their apartment was a typical country club plaza apartment, brightly and nicely furnished. Mr. Bennett was an agent for the Richard Hundut Perfume Company. So there you go. And then he supposedly says in the same article, when he gets shot, he says, "My God," Bennett shouted, "she got me," which I doubt that happened, but it's fun to read.
Oh my God, she got me. Yeah, that's always that whole thing. Woe is me. I've been pierced by A leaden bullet. No, people probably said what we would normally say if they could get a word out at all being shot is shit, I've been shot. You bitch, you shot me. You
Totally.
know?
Totally. That's totally what he was thinking. So, all right. So this one. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah, that's love for you, by the way. Yeah. Don't be playing strip bridge or anything else with people if they've been drinking too much and there's firearms nearby. I'll tell you that.
Don't go on an all-day bender. Starting out playing golf in the morning, going to the Indian Hills Country Club, going back, drinking some more, and then having a bridge game that lasts for hours. It doesn't end well. So
yeah, that as the name of that last hand at whatever manor. That last hand is your last everything. Anyway, yeah. So great job. Oh my gosh.
All right, brother. So that's it for this time. So as people know, then I get the hint for next episode. Alex is going to give me the hint, and I have to come up with a drink. And as you've already noted, it'll probably have maybe 2 ingredients. We'll find out. So,
all right, here we go. The clue is for Jamie. Just so you know, this is the clue he uses to base his drink selection on. The clue is a ghostly heap. That's a ghostly heap.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, that'll give you pause, won't it?
Yeah. That's good.
Real quick, folks, we've actually been asked, and we were following this. We don't do contemporary stuff very often, but we just want to mention the mysterious deaths of 3 men found dead in a friend's frozen yard here in Kansas City. Basically, what's known as this: several questions remain unanswered after 3 men were found dead in the backyard of their friend's home on January 9th. These 3 men bodies were discovered on January 9th, 2 days after they gathered at their friend's home to watch a KC Chiefs game on January 7th. One of the fiancés went looking for him and called the police when she saw him dead on the homeowner's back porch. I didn't want to name names on this. The KCPD has said that upon further investigation, officers located 2 other dead bodies in the backyard. I'll just spare you everything just to say we don't know yet. We're waiting on toxicology, but the city is buzzing about it, and the family members of the decedents are, to say the least, dubious that they simply fell asleep in the backyard. Their cars were out front. It's
something
weird.
stinks, man.
Something stinks. Jamie just sums it. Something stinks, man.
Well, I just, we're supposed, and I don't, like I said, we don't know yet, but it's a stretch to think that the guy, his 3 best friends that he watched, he thinks that they have left. And like you said, their cars are still out front. I mean, how many times did you go in and out of your house and I'm like, you're going to see cars out front. And the fact that they're just out in his backyard and he never, washing dishes, or he doesn't see anything. We don't know. And we certainly aren't saying that he did something, but something doesn't add up. That's all I'm saying. So
I'll leave you with one quote from the cousin of one of the victims. He said, 100%, I think the situation is strange. I'm not looking for anyone's head or anything, but my cousin was frozen to the dirt for 2 days.
Ugh, it's awful. It's so sad. I feel so sorry for those people's families.
I do too. God knows what, but we're following the story. We'll let you know. We don't have any updates this episode of any of our previous stories. I gave you an update last month about the trucker. That's not changed. So that's all I got really for you. Other than to say, if I could, I have a little bit of a life change. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but since a lot of my crossover listeners listen to this show, my other shows, my day job circumstances changed. After 14 years in business, I'm walking away from being a PR and marketing and business consultant, and I'm going to go on staff back to the sector I fell in love with when I first started my career in higher education. I'll just leave it there, but I'll be working in higher education come March. So that's a big change for me, but I'm very, very excited about it.
All right. And my other podcast is starting back up. It's actually going to come out on Valentine's Day, first episode. We have 2 in the can. My brother, my old friend, my musician, idiot college buddy, Billy Decker, who has gone on to great things. We used to hang out and play music together. He is now one of the premier music engineers in Nashville. He has mixed 16 #1 hits. He has his own studio. He has agreed to be my co-host, which I had so much fun with this. I thought this would be fun for the other podcast. We have 2 in the pot already done. The first one is we're talking all about the Folk Alliance, which is here once a year in Kansas City. Most years, every once in a while it goes, but it's going to be back. And we interviewed a Welsh who were actually from Wrexham of all places, Alex. So if anybody who's watched Welcome to Wrexham, a trio that's coming all the way from Wales to perform at the Folk Alliance. And then the second half was I spoke to Jenny Boyd, which at first you probably would be like, who? But Jenny Boyd was married to Mick Fleetwood, not once, but twice, because she didn't learn the first time.
Didn't learn the first time.
And her sister, Patty Boyd, was first married to somebody named George Harrison. And then, as we know, if you listen to the song Layla, that didn't go well, and she had an affair with Eric Clapton and ended up so. So this woman, not only married to Mick Fleetwood, her two brother-in-laws over time were George Harrison and, of course, Eric Clapton. She has a book of interviews with tons of musicians about the creative process, including Eric Clapton, George Harrison, Mick Fleetwood, bunch of people. She was delightful. She zoomed in from London. We had a very nice chat. So those will both be out in the next few weeks. And I think everybody will get a kick out of it. Billy asked really good questions. He's, I'm just a schmo with the show. He's an actual music professional. So there you go.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short, dude. You know a whole lot about music, and you're quite the music historian. You know your stuff. And I was thrilled to hear that you're getting a little help with Trading Fours. I was worried that maybe it was going to burn you out. I'm glad to hear you got a guest host. And I understand. I carry 2 shows by myself, but if it's tough. And hopefully with my new work schedule, which is nothing to sneeze at, I can keep my shows going. But so hats off to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing the pair of you. Wow. So is he going to actually engineer the episodes? Because seriously,
he should, right? Now the coolest thing is that we are going to start having some of his friends come on, and his friends are people like Kip Winger.
Get out of here.
No, tons of country guys he's like friends with. I'm trying to think of it. I won't be able to think of them on the top of my head. The guy, Darius Rucker.
Sure. He's very country now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's why Billy. So it's interesting. And Billy's a really fascinating dude because he is super good with his hands. He makes tables, builds these beautiful tables. He makes cutting boards. And he and his wife are flipping houses in Nashville. So and he's also a cancer survivor. Actually, if you want my interview with Billy from a few years ago, he had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh my goodness!
And made it through. Was a trooper. Had to keep his business going that whole time. So very happy that Billy is still with us. He's a really good guy. We have been good friends. I put a funny picture of Duffy's, which was our hangout in college. There's a picture of 1990 where both Billy and I are in the crowd. You can find us. We both had long hair then. That's your only hint. But there you go. So looking forward to it. So that's it for this time. Again, folks, we have a website. We would love you to take a part and be a part of that. Be sure to give us a like and review, share away, and we'll be back in a month.
Yeah, don't forget to Facebook. There's links on the website, killingcitypod.com.
If you're an experienced pet owner, you already know that having a pet is 25% belly rubs, 25% yelling, drop it, and 50% groaning at the bill from every pet visit. Which is why Lemonade Pet Insurance is tailor-made for your pet and can save you up to 90% on vet bills. It can help cover checkups, emergencies, diagnostics, basically all the stuff that makes your bank account get nervous. Claims are filed super easily through the Lemonade app and half get settled instantly. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet and they'll help cover the vet bill for whatever your pet swallowed after you yelled, drop it.